The grand halls of Brazil's Itamaraty Palace, the headquarters of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, became the stage for a message Europe wants the world to hear. Walking into the palace with diplomatic composure, the European Union's foreign policy chief, Kaja Kallas, carried the weight of a continent's security concerns. At her side, Brazil's Foreign Minister Mauro Vieira welcomed her with firm handshakes and polite ceremony. The scene was routine diplomacy, but beneath it lay a confrontation with history. Kallas's visit to Brazil comes at a time when Russia is once again testing boundaries, both literally and figuratively. In recent days, Russian fighter jets entered Estonian airspace, a deliberate provocation against a small NATO member that shares a border with Moscow. For Estonia and for Europe, this is no isolated event. It is part of a broader strategy, probing weaknesses, assessing responses, and calculating just how far Russia can go. Standing at the podium in Brasília, Kallas delivered her warning with unflinching clarity. "It is clear that Russia is testing how far they can go," she said. The remark, calm in tone but sharp in meaning, drew on Estonia's own lived experience. A country that endured Soviet occupation, Estonia now finds itself once again at the front line of European security. For Kallas, this is not theory, it is survival. Her words carried greater force as she pressed the point further. We must show no weakness because weakness is something that invites Russia to do more, and they are increasingly more dangerous, not only to Ukraine, but also to all the countries around Russia. It was a direct warning, not just to Europe, but to every nation watching Russia's moves. To hesitate, she suggested, is to embolden. To waver is to invite escalation. The rhetoric was unmistakable. Europe must stand firm, and the world must take note. Yet Kallas was speaking not in Brussels or Berlin, but in Brasília. Why Brazil? The choice of stage matters. Brazil, as Latin America's largest democracy and an influential voice in the global south, occupies a unique role. It is part of BRICS, a group that includes Russia and China, but it also seeks closer trade ties with the European Union. This dual positioning makes Brazil a bridge, and for Europe, a vital partner in rallying global support against Russian aggression. Foreign Minister Mauro Vieira, standing beside Kallas, struck a different but complementary tone. His remarks, delivered in Portuguese, focused on agreements and diplomacy. The agreement has been finalised, negotiations are already underway, and now we just need to sign it, he explained, referring to EU-Brazil trade and cooperation frameworks. In another statement, he added, "At the moment, we are just waiting for the European Council to finish its review, and then we will be ready to sign." These words reflected Brazil's pragmatism. While Europe is fixated on Russia's military manoeuvres, Brazil is equally focused on trade, growth, and balancing its role between East and West. The contrast was striking. Kallas urging firmness against Moscow, Vieira emphasising cooperation with Brussels. Both spoke truths that reflect their national priorities. Kallas acknowledged the challenges of European consensus. The European Commission has sent the proposals to the European Council, like Minister Vieira said. And of course, we are 27 countries and 27 democracies, which means that in 27 democracies, you have different groups. And that is the discussion that this is all about. Her candour was telling. Europe is united in principle, but each decision must pass through the friction of democracy. It is slow, sometimes messy, but ultimately, she suggested, stronger for it. This press conference in Brazil carried significance beyond its ceremonial setting. Russia's airspace violations in Estonia are not isolated stunts. They are reminders of a larger war in Ukraine and Moscow's willingness to expand pressure points. For Kallas, the message was simple. The Kremlin advances where it senses hesitation. Deterrence, she insisted, must be absolute. Her words echo a familiar logic. During the Cold War, NATO adopted the doctrine of containment. Resist, deter, never concede. Today, as Russian missiles rain on Ukrainian cities and fighter jets intrude on Baltic skies, Kallas resurrects that logic. Weakness, she argues, is an invitation. The lesson is not theoretical, it is historical. The failure to stop aggressors early has, time and again, led to wider wars. Yet by delivering these warnings in South America, Kallas was not only speaking to Europe's allies, she was addressing the global south, a region where many nations remain neutral in the Ukraine conflict. Brazil has advocated dialogue and peace talks, at times resisting Western pressure to isolate Moscow. Kallas's presence here is a reminder that for Europe, neutrality is not enough. In her view, neutrality can embolden Russia just as much as weakness does. Brazil, however, sees its role differently. Its geography shields it from direct military threat, but its economy and diplomacy give it weight in global affairs. As a founding member of BRICS, Brazil maintains ties with Russia, yet as a democracy and a trading powerhouse, it also seeks closer integration with Europe. Mauro Vieira's remarks reflected this balancing act. Agreements with Europe are ready to be signed, but they must move through processes and politics. For Europe, Brazil's partnership is valuable not only for trade, but for legitimacy. Convincing the global South that Russia's actions threaten more than just Ukraine is crucial. Grain shortages, rising fuel prices, and global instability are consequences felt in Africa, Asia, and Latin America. Kallas's appearance alongside Vieira underscored that Europe's struggle with Russia has global stakes. This moment also highlights the complexity of multipolar diplomacy. The Itamaraty Palace became the stage for overlapping narratives, Europe rallying for unity against aggression, Brazil showcasing itself as a bridge between blocs, Russia looming as the absent but unavoidable third actor. It was a performance in which each player spoke to their own audience, but all acknowledged the same crisis. Kallas's warning is not without urgency. Estonia has been among the strongest supporters of Ukraine, sending aid, sheltering refugees, and pushing NATO for more robust defence measures. For a country of just over 1 million people, the threat of Russia is existential. That reality infused her words with personal gravity. Weakness is something that invites Russia to do more, she repeated, underscoring a fear rooted in her nation's past and its vulnerable geography. For Brazil, the stakes are different but still significant. Its economy depends on stable global trade. A protracted war in Europe disrupts food and energy supplies, rippling into Latin America. By standing next to Kallas, Vieira signaled that Brazil recognizes the war's wider impact, even if its path to engagement differs. Ultimately, the event in Brasília highlighted unity and divergence all at once. Unity in affirming international law and cooperation, divergence in emphasis, Europe on deterrence, Brazil on diplomacy. But together, they sent a message that dialogue between continents is not only possible, but necessary. As the cameras zoomed out on the press hall, the symbolism was clear. Russia's war in Ukraine is not just Europe's concern. It is testing the boundaries of the global order. Kallas's words, "We must show no weakness," may resonate far beyond Tallinn or Brussels. They may find echoes in Brasília, in Washington, in capitals across Africa and Asia. The challenge for democracies everywhere is whether they heed that call or whether Russia interprets hesitation as an opening. In the marble corridors of the Itamaraty Palace, the handshake between Kallas and Vieira embodied both the promise and the difficulty of this moment. Firm, polite, ceremonial, yet shadowed by the urgent reality of war. And so the message from Brasília is this: Europe will not bend, Brazil will engage, and the world must decide how to respond to Moscow's test. The warning has been issued. The question now is who will answer.
Boa tarde, ministro representante Eduardo Davis, da agência F. Questões, se é que pode identificar elas, as questões que ainda não permitem.
O que está ocorrendo nesse momento e para uma discussão
The European Commission has sent the proposals to European Council, like Minister said, and of course.
A senhora comentou mais cedo sobre a incursão da Rússia hoje na Estônia, chamou essa incursão de uma provocação extremamente perigosa. Continuar, o que a senhora espera de países que são mais próximos da Rússia, como o caso do Brasil?
Thank you. It is clear that Russia is testing how far they can go. We had see that we must show no weakness, because weakness is something that invites Russia to do more, and they are increasingly more dangerous not only to Ukraine but also to all the countries around Russia, and therefore our
I wanted to say that the agreement has been finalized, negotiations are already underway, and now we just need to sign it. But at the moment, we are just waiting for the European Council to finish its review, and then we will be ready to sign.
I will just add that the European Commission has sent the proposals to European Council, like Minister said, and of course we are 27 countries and 27 democracies, which means that in 27 democracies you have different groups, and that is the discussion that is all about. But